everyone. This is Teresa Perkins, editor of Exposure, Spotlight Magazine, and Talk Show. I am so excited because I have a special guest on today, and he is from New Brunswick, New Jersey. He is the son of Victor Hoagland Sr. So he's the junior. So everyone, allow me to introduce to you the one and the only Victor Hoagland. How are you doing today?
Fine, ma'am. I'm blessed, Teresa. Pleased to meet you and your friends. So glad to be a part of your show.
Well, thank you. I am elated to have you here because we want to talk about a very special man that has a legacy. And, before we get into it, and when I thought about it, we're talking about legacy because here it is, I'm getting ready to celebrate the legacy that my father, George Perkins, who recorded the million hit seller called Crying in the Streets. So I'm excited to talk about the legacy of your father, Victor Hoagland Sr. Look, share some information about Mr. Hoagland because there are some people that probably that is familiar with him and some may not. But from my understanding, he is a very important person. He has sung with a lot of different celebrities. So share some information about him, if you mind, please.
Okay, I'd like to start. I was born 1959. My father entered the music industry, I believe, at the age of 26. He received his first recording contract. And he had this idea in his head. You know, he was already doing his music. He was deep in it. He had sung with a lot of groups, as you said. But he had this idea where he latched on to me. I believe I was 11 months old at the time. He would take me and set me on a bar stool without the back on it, and I would sit there, right?
Mm-hmm.
He would pop me on my leg and make me cry. This is how he kept my attention. And when he would keep my attention, he would set a little radio. At that time, we didn't have FM, we had AM. WNJR was the station. And one of the hosts of the station was his cousin, Mr. Hal Jackson. So what Daddy would do, he would play every artist on the radio. And again, he would hit me on my leg and he would tell me the name of these artists. He did this over and over again. I don't think it was abuse. It was him, his way of training me to get my attention because he was grooming me for the music industry. And then through that, after some time, he got my attention to make me learn all these artists: James Brown, Jackie Wilson, Wilson Pickett, Sam Cooke, uh, Otis Redding. These was the main guys that was really running the industry at this time. There was a whole lot of other things to come after that, and my father included. So after he did that, he moved me from the chair to the floor where he would always write music. He kept a pad in his hand, a pad and a pencil. He would always write songs. So when he started recording, the new records would come through, and like he would have me on the floor. He would lay on the floor with a little photographic radio, little record players with the little one you open the lid.
Mm-hmm.
He would put his radios on. At that time, it was the big 45, the 78s, the big ones. And he would play these songs, and he would say, "Bub, listen to this, man. I was a baby, and this is how he groomed me. It was step by step, from the chair to making me listen to him, to learn these artists, to the floor. And then from the floor, I would watch him do everything with his writing, how he would put together paragraphs and metaphors of songs. And he would write this stuff and put it together. And I remember Solomon Burke coming through to get music from my father. He would come through with money to buy songs from my father. And Solomon Burke is still alive. He remembers Hoagie Lands. And so he would come and get music, and he would be saying like, Hoagie, I need that, man. I like that, man. And Daddy would sell him the song. During this time, I don't believe he ever copyrighted any of his music because he was always selling music to different people and different artists. And they was always paying him money. So when he got me really interested into the music and stuff that he was teaching me, the way he was teaching me with his style, when I learned to walk, I believe I was about maybe a year old. He would tell my mother and my mother's mother, my grandmother, that he was taking me downtown to go buy me clothes, when he was actually taking me to New York, Chicago, Detroit. I even went to London with him, London, England, Italy, Milan, Rome, all these places where he went and he blew up.
Oh, wow.
And I heard that my father never made a commercial. Daddy, Hoagie Lands, he was all over the place. Like Barry Gordon would give shows at the Apollo, and I would be there with him. Joe Jackson, his other cousin, Michael and his father, they don't know us, but we know them from the stories. But Joe knows my father, and most of his security guards that he had, Joe Jackson had around him, knew my father, and they would verify that my father and he were cousins. So I don't want to, I don't want to drag on that. But yeah, as far as my father's legacy, the Drifters, Under the Boardwalk, Up on the Roof, Stand By Me. This was all before the original singers began to sing this song. Daddy was doing these songs. And like I said, he was a trendsetter, a pioneer, and his legacy was kind of like, well, pushed up under the rug. I don't know what my father did in the industry, who he angered, or whatever the case may have been. But his music is in a lot of very important people's hands. Um, I found out that some of his music is away in vaults. They have his videos and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If this was not a commercial performer like he was, my question is, why does everybody have all his music and they're harboring this man's legacy? Daddy should have been in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He should have really been recognized by all the accolades and the awards that different people get when they contribute, you know, to such things as he did. He was an artist. He he was involved in cartoons that was played as we was growing up. We knew these cartoons, certain movies. I'm not gonna name these movies because people, while my father is gone, like I said, it's very emotional when I talk about my dad. Everything that he contributed to, that he told me about, um, he was always taking money for it. And his name wasn't too much credited on a lot of the movies was out. And I know a lot of the movies. I also know a lot of the songs that he wrote for people. I also know about one artist out of North New Jersey that Daddy sang on a lot of his music. And that CD is still out today, playing online. And we're hearing all this, and I'm just trying to seek out the reason why my father never made it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Why wasn't a street named after him? Hoagie Land's Way or Hoagie Land's Drive or something like that. Hoagie Land's Avenue. This man was a trendsetter. One of the artists was out that I didn't name, James Brown. He came here to New Brunswick, New Jersey from Augusta, Georgia. He had picked my father up when he heard my father was singing, took my father back down south with him. And James was involved at that time with a group called the famous Flames, I believe, or something like that. And he had took my father down, and my father was a soul R&B crooner. And his story was he got down there with James and them, and he didn't like that type of singing that they would do. You know what I mean? He didn't want to be involved in that. He literally left them and came back. But some months later on, and all this happened real rapidly, he brought James Brown here to New Brunswick. And that's when James Brown had made a son here by the name of Darryl Brown. And I grew up with Darryl. And James was first here. Daddy was a barber. He was a hairdresser. He used to do James's hair. And they all used to go uptown to New York, the Apollo, the Blue Note, the Copa. And that's where he ran into Sam Cooke at.
And
Him and Sam.
I want to ask you on that note there, when you mentioned about Sam Cooke, because from my understanding, your father was often compared to Sam Cooke. So, what do you think was the most uh, of Sam Cooke aspect that reminded you of your father's?
I was actually in the studio, and I don't know if I really want to tell this story because his kids don't even know. When Sam Cooke died, my father was going in the studio under Sam Cooke's name. Um, he had me in New York with him. We used to live in the Apollo. That was his hangout. Percy Sutton and all of them was there at that time. Moms, Mabley, Richard Pryor, Paul Mooney, um, who else? Red Patch. Barry Gordy had bought Motown there. When he bought Motown, there was a review going on. I was there with Mike and them and Jermaine and them. And Joe was trying to get in position, and he was in position. But it was something that happened with my dad in his career that he left the music industry. And I believe it was because his producer had passed away. When his producer passed away, Daddy just went into a slump. I mean, and then his manager died by the name of Robert Mellon. And when those two individuals passed away, he began to bounce around. But he had a few other record labels that picked him up. To be exact, the man sang so good, he was on about 15 record labels. If you look up the history on Hoagie Lands, you'll see each label that he was on from 1 through 15. They were all different labels. From here to overseas, this man was really doing his thing. And I believe that my father should be accredited for the work that he contributed to the music industry. I see everybody receiving awards and accolades. It's not even about that. It's just the remembering of what this man gave, from he sung from his heart. Everything that he gave from his God-given gift, you know.
Mhm.
But go ahead. You asked me a question.
Yeah, you answered it. So my other question is for you. What would you say are some of your father's most memorable moments or achievements in his music career?
From what he had me going through with him, like I said, I don't know if he favored me because I was his namesake, his junior, but he
Hmm.
always had, and let me explain this. You see how Beyonce today, she got her daughter on stage with her,
Hmm.
Blue, and she brings Blue Ivy on. Now that she brings the little one on too, but she brings Blue Ivy on, and she's introducing her to the industry, to the people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this little girl should not have any fear if she chooses to become a performer, a singer, a performer, whatever it is she wants to do. The way my daddy did it, he would literally take me to every performance there was. I mean, I was right there in the front row, the first seat. As a little baby, he would leave me there while he was performing. He would go backstage and he would tell me, sit there. this was a part of him bringing me from the chair to the floor, watching him write music,
Mm-hmm.
to all over places, traveling with him, airplanes, trains. We was there. To the front seat at every show. I was there when James Brown, the first time he came out, I was there. The Motown Review, I was there. Little Stevie, I was there. Stevie's also related to us as well. I'm telling you, the
Who?
guys
Stevie Wonder? Oh,
on,
really? Okay.
on my father's side. So, I remember my father traveling with us very, very young, back and forth from Detroit and different places, going to visit his mom and them. And I remember the little blind boy, he was older than me by about maybe 10, 11 years. But daddy had taught me to focus on things, and I never forgot those things.
Mm-hmm.
As we was growing up, we imitated all of them. We had the vocalists, my brothers, my sisters, all of us. There was nobody we could not sing like. And like I said, this man outsang everybody. I could go through the names, I'm not gonna do that. There's too many artists. But I was there with
But
him.
he did it.
Diana Ross and the Supremes, they know who Daddy was. Gladys Knight, they know who Daddy was. Patti LaBelle. Let me show you an article. This is him when he was. Let me see if you can see it. I don't know if you can see
I can
that.
see it. Yeah. Yep.
26 right there. Matter of fact, I got a darker one. Can
Okay.
you see this?
Mm-hmm. And the
Right?
audience, I'm sure they can see it too. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Did you know a singer? He should have been between your father and my father's age. His name was L. Sid Caesar.
What is his name?
L. Sid Caesar. He was a singer.
Well, I still didn't understand the name. Repeat it.
L. Sid Caesar with an
Oh,
S. I.
okay.
L. Sid Caesar. Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
want to show you this. Go ahead.
let me ask you this: are there any unreleased recordings or projects that your father, or either that you would like to see come to light that your father didn't get a chance to or didn't record? Because a lot of times, a lot of these artists, when they pass away or what have you, they still have some unreleased music that they didn't get a chance to record. So, um, do you
Yes,
all have any of that?
yes. Gospel, R&B, we have it. Um, he sung in Italian and he sung in Swahili. Where he learned it, I think he learned Italian when he was over there in London when he was on tour.
Mm-hmm.
Word for word. I mean, we do have that original material
Mm-hmm.
of him singing, and then a lot of the unrecorded material that he was singing, he would sing on recorded tapes and stuff like that. Then he would also write the song. So we do have that stuff.
Okay.
And his last and dying word, they call me Bubby. And he said, Bubby, he said, will you do me a favor, man? I said, what is it, Dad? He said, will you sing my music?
Mm.
And I said, Dad, I will. I'll sing it. He knew something about me, I guess, from the day I was born and what he had instilled in me that he really put that in me. And like I said, it touches me here. You
Right.
don't find too many singers that sang like they sang back then. There was one singer that would sing from his heart, and he passed away. And when he hit the stage, he used to bring it. Do you know who that was?
Who? Michael Jackson?
Who did you say?
I said Michael Jackson.
Michael sang, but Gerald Levert sang from his heart. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Those singers back in the day, when he began to approach the stage, that's when all the women and everybody would go crazy. You would hear all the roaring and all that. Like if you looked at the movie The Five Heartbeats, I believe it was,
Yeah.
where they were singing and all that went on, that's what went on when my father was performing. all that went on with James Brown, Marvin Gaye, all of them. I was there with all of them.
Yeah.
Um, he gave a show here in New Brunswick at the Elks Home Club, and Little Anthony, he invited these guys, and when he called them, they came. Wilson Pickett, Little Anthony, Joe Tex, James Brown. They came right to the Elks. Matter of fact, it's 2 blocks from my house.
Oh, wow.
And he was a place fiend. He was a character. So he introduced James Brown to this lady one night, and he was so plain. He snuck me into the club. He said, "James, come here." And James came over to him, and he called this lady named Barbara. He said, "Beatrice." He said, "Beatrice, come here." Just like that. He said, "Beatrice, this is James." He said, "James, this is Beatrice. Beatrice Ford." So look, some years later, she had a son by James Brown. Now
Oh,
he's high
really?
yellow with freckles. Yeah. His name is Darryl Brown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I used to sneak out of the house. I never knew him until I snuck out of the house one day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and this little boy was standing in the project, low riser project. He was in the back door looking out. And I was coming down this dirt road, right? He was about maybe 3 cars away from me. He said, "Who is you?" And I told him who I was. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Singer." He said, "My father singing too." I said, "Who's your father?" We little kids, right?
Yeah.
Father James Brown. I said, "Your father, James Brown." He called his mother, right? And his mother came to the door. And
Uh-huh.
he said, "Mom, tell her who my father is." She said, "Who is that?" He said, "What's your name?" I said, "Bubby." She said, "Bubby." She said, "You Victor's son?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, James is his father." So me and him got real tight. But I know stories about his dad that he don't even know how his mother's father met. So that's just a part of the life that I lived under my father.
I understand. So let me ask you this. What is your favorite song that your father recorded?
Like
And
all
why does it hold a special place too in your heart? And I'm sure all of his songs hold a special place in your heart, but this one particular favorite song, what would you consider to be your favorite that he recorded?
I love them all because the stories that he used to tell, and I remember most of them being with my mom. And like God bless the dead, may she rest in peace. Brenda had said her father was a Rolling Stone.
Hmm.
He was definitely that Rolling Stone,
Oh, he was
and
a
he was
Rolling Stone?
don't even talk about it. You know what I
Uh-uh.
mean? Nobody was. Like I said, when he was in that industry,
Hmm. Everybody was.
pride was one of the reasons a lot of people was upset at him. But all his music, I love all his music. I can sing it all. Um, Reminisce, that was like the last song he did, and I believe that was 70, 72 or
Hmm.
73. Yeah, he came out with that with a local female singer from right here in New Brunswick, and he did that. But the way my father was singing, because I knew how he would deliver a song,
Hmm.
knew who he was talking about, like women he had dated. Like if he went through a thing with my mother or one of the women he was dating, and me and my brothers and us, we caught ear about it. We always knew where to go find him. If he was in New York somewhere, we would go find him. If he had a show and he didn't like go to his show,
Hmm.
we would go find him. We knew how to find him. So when he would be singing certain lyrics, the words about the different relationships he had, we knew exactly who he was talking about. In September, he was talking about my mother. They had a disagreement and a separation. He said, "You said in September that you'd be mine." He
Yeah.
was talking to my mother, but she kept delaying him getting back with him. He had too many women. I'm gonna leave that alone. But
So let's talk about you for a second before we end our conversation here. So you are a producer, you write, right?
arranging, composer, yes.
Okay, so do you have any upcoming music that we can expect soon?
I have a song coming out. I believe it's a hit. Everything I put my hands to is a hit.
Okay.
I can go in the studio with groups. I can arrange harmonies closer than I would say a lot of people do. As I was growing up, my father, he had taught me to sing and how to breathe and how to pronounce my words very proper. And he used to tell me to go take a shower. And when I would go take a shower, I would come out the shower and he would turn on this standard fan.
Mm-hmm.
I was calling. You know how you sing behind the fan and you hear all the vocals, they're in a blur, but they're in harmony?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I blend vocals. You actually hear that blur in them. Now, I don't know if producers and engineers like that, but that's how tight my harmony is when I help arrange. And I've been on a lot of people's music, rappers and everything. Um, Tupac had a group called Outlaws. I did
Mm-hmm.
some, a song called Don't Make Me. Um, I did some stuff with quite a few other rappers, local cats, from out the way. One female artist, I did a song with her, but there's no credits to it, you know what I mean? But now I'm doing my own thing. Yep. I
Well,
have a song out
we,
that I'm sure everybody's gonna like. I don't even want to say the title of it, but it's coming.
I understand. Okay. Well, we'll have another interview so you'll be able to share, when your music is released. But so I let me well, and on that note, we have a group. I have a group called Unique. So I know we spoke, periodically about perhaps you doing some music or writing for Unique. So we are looking forward to that to take place. So you can make us a hit since you say everything you do or write or produce is a hit. So that's what we want.
Barry Gordy or somebody who's been in the industry that long, he's retired now. Ask him or Smokey. Smokey's in Las Vegas. Ask either one of them what is a golden ear for a musician, and they'll explain it to you. That's what I have. My father put that in me.
Mm.
Um, I want to article to you right here. Can you see it?
Uh-huh. Yes.
This is a show he did when he was younger. Look who's on the show.
Okay.
The gentleman who gave the show was from Philadelphia. He was a show promoter. His name was Georgie Woods.
Mm-hmm.
Look who was on the ticket. This was at the Uptown. You had the Drifters, his group. You had the Variations, a group that he understudied. You had Patti LaBelle, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had Diana Ross. You had the Supremes, and you had a guy by the name of I wear glasses, Major Lance, and Sam Reed and his orchestra.
Mm.
So for a man to be said not to ever went commercial and 15 record labels signed this man and he recorded all these songs. If you look it up online, you're gonna see all these different labels: Atlantic, Judy, and so many others. CBS, ABC. This
Mm-hmm.
man he was doing cartoons and everything. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
how can he be in commercial?
Got
Yeah.
you. So
Go ahead.
and I know we had this conversation, but I want to you to elaborate on that. So, are you considering doing a documentary on your father so that more people can hear your story about him, the legacy that he he left behind, as well as how much he worked with so many other artists, and a difference that he made with them, as well as within, the area where he lived. So, are you considering doing a documentary?
Yes, I would like to do that. I'm very much interested in that because I feel that there's a lot of information. Like for instance, my nephew Jaheim,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's the R&B sensation. Jaheim is big out there. And whenever you hear Jaheim in an interview, they say, so you're the grandson of, I hear that your grandfather was a singer or a soul crooner or whatever. And he'll go, yeah, my grandfather used to sing with the Drifters, blah, 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 blah. But see, Jaheim, we love him. He's a third generation. He's my sister's son.
Okay.
History of my father, like I do. I used to travel with him. So this is the story that I want to get out on my dad. And like I said, it's dealing with all the contributions that he had gave to the music industry. Him
Mm-hmm.
and his, they had him working under other artists where he would come in and sing with other artists and beef up their music. I know all the songs. Like I said, I can show you a CD right now. I could grab it that my father sung on and his vocals. When I hear it, I know his voice. It's like he's speaking to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's all he would come in the house after he did recording sessions.
Mm-hmm.
He would come in the house and he would be like I said, he was a jokester and a comedian. Whatever he recorded with certain people, he would come in the house and be singing it around us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We would hear this, and then as we grew up, I don't care if we was in a mall, a restaurant, wherever, the big shopping malls and stuff like that, the music would be playing. And it would be his vocals. It ain't just like hearing your father singing a song that we knew. This was material that he had recorded with other people, and we would hear him. And I would tell my brother, that's daddy. You know what I mean? I knew his vocals anyway. And I can name the artists that he performed with, and today they're still playing this music. So let me just add this. This is very touching for me. I want to send this out to any lawyers, entertainment lawyers, that if they understand what I'm talking about and the message that I'm trying to convey to them to get across to them, like I said, it's not about the monetary part of it. It's about correcting my father's legacy. He was a true pioneer. And he's laying in a grave right now. I call it a pauper's grave. He's buried under four people. This man should have his own grave plot. You see where I'm going? And it's so much that people are reaping from my father's gifts and talent. His music is in vaults. They've collected all his stuff, and every now and again, they'll put a little bit out there. I don't know who it is, but they'll put a little bit out there. I also found that a couple of people had bought a lot of his movie and video reels when he was performing. And I found out the people that has them. So I really don't know how to approach them. I would like to see him in his younger, handsome years when he was performing. And I also would like to have some of that material used that it could probably be in a documentary and then people could see what this man had to share. You see it on Jackie Wilson, you see it on James Brown,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Joe Tex and Sam Cooke and everybody else. He also had these reels and videos. But every time I turn around, they got his stuff hidden away. And I know people who are A&Rs, PR people, people out of Nashville that talked about his material and his stuff and remember the things and the contributions that Daddy made to the industry. But his music was so precious. You have to really see what I'm talking about. He came in at a time when Little Richard, Chuck Berry, even Elvis and them, like you've seen pictures of Elvis and Jackie Wilson. You see
Mm-hmm.
pictures of them in black and white. When they started dying out, he was coming in right at that era, the brink of it. He was like a bridge or a gap, and that's when he came in. His career it stemmed from '56, I believe, through '73. Constant recording, constant doing movies and stuff, artwork in movies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, money for these things, and I don't know if you have any copyrights on any material and stuff like that, because they was paying artists off in them days, and they were so glad just to receive the money. How much it was, I don't know, but I do know one. He had quadruple bypass heart surgery, and Jaheim had went to London to do a show over there, performance at a park called Cleethorpes, and the show promoter's name was Mark Hansen. And when he got Jaheim over there, he asked Jaheim, he said, by any chance, would you know Hoagland's in the States? And Jaheim said, that's my grandfather. He said, to tell your grandfather his music is selling big over here in London and that we have a check for him. We have monies for him. Sure enough, this man got out of the hospital. I don't know if it was 2 or 3 weeks. Quadruple bypass heart surgery. Got on a plane, London, and he went over there and did a performance. So while he did all this performance, I know you got to go. He did the performance, and they had him somewhere over there, one of the over there with the band, somewhere down in I don't know what they call the basement. In London, they got them basement clubs and different things, and they recorded him and got all this video material on him. And I have some of this material. I have some of it right here as well. When he was over there with them guys. So all this material is out there. 2 or 3 years ago, they did a play on him called I Wish I Could Sing Like Hoagland. Mm-hmm. So you see how they're constantly mimicking him. And so I kind of reached out to the yeah, they were using his music in that. So, like I said, nobody in the family was contacted about any of that. So,
like I said, before we end here, why don't you do just a little something for us? One of his songs. Can you just do a little bit for me? I'm not putting you on the spot, am I?
But let me see if I can do one of mine. I used to take her lips for granted, all her kisses tasted the same. Now she's gone, and what I wouldn't give just to see and to hear her call my name. She said, baby, come on home. Here come one more lonely night. Never wore bright colored dresses. She never wore perfume, diamonds or pearls. I always want a big city woman. He used to really kill that, so I gotta stand up. Now all I want is to see her face and hear her call my name. She said, baby, come on home. See, I need that music.
Okay, I remember that. So that one is Baby Come Home to Me, huh? Is that the name of it?
Baby, come on home.
Yeah, Baby Come On Home. Okay. Well, I love that. Look, Victor, it's been a pleasant evening, and I have enjoyed having this conversation with you. What I want you to do is just share like your contact information for me, how, anyone can reach you.
Yes. Telephone number 908-342-9532. 908-342-9532. And my email is jlands, LANDS, 502@gmail.com.
Thank you for listening in. This is Teresa Perkins, the editor of Exposure, Spotlight Magazine and Talk Show. You all be blessed.
Thank you very much.
Hi, this is Teresa Perkins, editor and host of Exposure, Spotlight Magazine and Talk Show, where your voice matters. Business or would like to promote your event or project, or even written a book and would like to make special appearance on our show or be featured in our magazine, you want to give us a call at 1-855-828-7200.